Hello, everyone. And thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Welcome to tonight's Managing Your Lifestyle webinar. And we're going to be focusing on how to manage our expenses without sacrificing our lifestyle. I feel like this is a really timely topic, especially with how high inflation has been over the last couple of years, how much most people's expenses have gone up. It's more important than ever to find ways to manage your lifestyle without sacrificing your goals and dreams. So my name's Alex Sierra. I'm the founding advisor and a certified financial planner, and I'm gonna be the one kicking us off today. Before we get started, I wanted to briefly remind you of our team. So this is your full team of advisors here at Cetera Investors. There's of course my wife and founding partner Tori, myself there, and then Brandon Chhan, certified personal finance counselor, and then also our speaker for tonight. And then lastly, there's Max, the newest member of our team. So as you can see, we have a great group of advisors to help you and your family with their financial plan. I also wanted to make sure to share our website. If you haven't already, really recommend bookmarking this page. You can scan the QR code in the top right to access it. But our website's the best place to access our resources. The biggest one being our newsletter, which comes out monthly. Also on our website, you can access our blog, register for other educational webinars, schedule a meeting, refer a friend, and lots more things there. So definitely check out the website, toriandalex.ceterainvestors.com. But today, without further ado, I want to pass things over to our main speaker, Brandon Chhan, again, certified personal finance counselor. He's going to be leading us in the discussion on how to manage our lifestyle. Many of you probably already know Brandon. Brandon's been working with us for over 6 years and has always been a great hub of knowledge when it comes to personal finance. He even helps Tori and me with our credit cards, budgeting, and much more. So yes, advisors need advice as well. As a financial advisor, Brandon specializes in financial planning for young professionals by helping them create a customized savings and investing plan to maximize each dollar that they earn. He's also our in-house credit card guru and holds credit card consultations for many of our clients. We're going to be sending out a poll at the end of the webinar today to see how we should best follow up with you. In addition, be on the lookout for a follow-up email, and of course, visit our website if you want to schedule a follow-up meeting with Brandon or any of the other advisors on the call. We're not going to be taking questions tonight, so hold those. You can always email them to us after the fact. But again, that poll is going to be that best way to get in contact with us moving forward. So again, without further ado, I'm going to pass things over to our speaker, Brandon Chhan, to lead us through the concept of managing our lifestyles.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Alex. I really appreciate the great introduction from you. Yes, thanks a lot, everyone, for taking some time out of your day today for a webinar going over essentially, managing your lifestyle, which is an important topic. So to start off, want to go over Maslow's hierarchy of needs over here. So in this, essentially to start off, in this landmark 1943 study, Maslow placed the lifestyle choices in an ascending scale of importance, ranging from basic needs to, self-actualization as well as peak experiences. This essentially illustrates the concept of needing to start at the bottom or the foundation and work your way up the pyramid. So I just want to, kick off and start off also that not all of our wants and needs fully, perfectly, fall into these categories, but it provides us with a framework to help our priorities and put them into place. To start off, we'll start off with the bottom at basic needs. We're usually talking about food, water, and shelter, which includes your home. And in this first category that we'll be going over, within your lifestyle, will be home ownership. First off, for those who own a home, making good choices with your mortgage is very critical. And we'll be going over how to structure a mortgage or what goes into structuring a mortgage itself. Although on the other side, for those who rent, many of the same principles we will talk about still apply. For homeowners, the first consideration is that of, hey, do I want a 15-year mortgage or do I want a 30-year mortgage? With that 15-year loan, this 15-year loan will obviously allow you to pay off the loan quicker, but the payments will be higher. And also with this 15-year loan, you'll also pay much less interest over the lifetime alone, and also, one thing to consider in regards to owning a 15-year loan is considering, are you able to afford the higher payments that come with it than that of a 30-year loan? Another consideration to take into effect is actually, do you want a fixed loan or a variable loan? With these fixed loans, you lock in an interest rate for the lifetime of the loan, and your rate and the monthly payments will not change at all. However, with these variable loans out there, these rates changes, are based off the interest rate environment. As it changes, your monthly payments will also go up and down. Usually with fixed mortgages, these make a lot more sense because it's predictable and you can always refinance it, if the rates go down. However, when it comes to the variable loans, if you have a flexible budget, this can make a lot more sense, because it allows you to get the lowest rate possible for the 30-year period. You just have to stomach essentially the risk of payments ballooning, in different interest rate environments. So next thing that we'll be going over, is an example, what we call the $100 million house example or situation. To look at the actual cost of owning a home, we're going to be looking at this crazy example. This isn't relatable for most people, and let me tell you this, it's not including myself. I can't afford this, but it helps illustrate the point of owning a home, which is more expensive than you actually think it is. So looking at this $100 million home, how much does it really cost? That's the big question. With the 20% down payment, 6.5% interest rate, 30-year fixed loan, what we run the numbers as, it comes out to $518,000 a month for the mortgage, or essentially $6.2 million a year. Over the lifetime of the loan, you're expected to pay essentially $107 million in interest, which far outsees the cost of the home itself. In addition, what we need to take in consideration are the taxes that come with the house itself. Taxes are estimated to be around $1 million a year. Also, as you see on the screen over here, the insurance and upkeep are estimated at $1 million a year. Now, let's take a step back. The total cost is roughly around $8.4 million a year just to own a $100 million home. These numbers are outrageous, but the principle remains the same. Owning a home can be expensive, more expensive than we think it is. While we need a home for shelter, referring back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we want to remember that the money you spend on an expensive home is money you could be allocating elsewhere. To go into more detail, that money you could be spending elsewhere if you don't buy the $100 million home is what we call your opportunity cost. This essentially represents the potential benefit one misses out when choosing one alternative over the other. Now, in the next slide over here, we're going to be going over how your home is, in dollars and cents. Taking a step back, we understand that your home is not only a significant asset, but also a representation of a specific part of your lifestyle. A home can represent who we are, who we care for. So the right home really depends a lot on these factors. Not strictly all financial decisions, but also financial considerations are very important. The cost of maintaining a large home might take away from activities you value, or like traveling, other hobbies and such like that. Others may find that a large home is important to them compared to traveling and other hobbies and such like that. But if we take a look at the screen, we see 3 questions that we need to take into consideration. Do we want the home? Do we need the home? Or can we even afford the home? Now, I also want to go over the concept of essentially downsizing, or essentially the upside of downsizing. To show the upside downsizing, we follow a couple things through the lifestyle of home ownership. In this situation, there is a couple named Ron and Cindy. Let's give it like that. And they're on a mission to manage their finances. With their $500,000 home, they are 55 years old, kids move out, and they're ready to downsize. With the equity that they accumulated, roughly around $300,000, what they're going to do is they're going to, pay cash with that $300,000 equity into a new home worth $250,000. So they don't have to pay a mortgage anymore. And then with that $50,000 that they have on the side, they're going to plan to invest that for the future right there. And by investing the money, essentially, they're saving on the mortgage, which was, $1,700 extra. And then with the assumed growth rate around 6%, on the right side that we see, if invested after 20 years, almost, essentially worth $950,000, nearly $1 million right there. This example shows us the potential and the upsides of downsizing. Less money towards shelter, more money towards other goals and such like that. Now, essentially our thought process is the guidelines of or for smart home ownership. With the example that we went over before, we got to keep in mind some of the things for smart home ownership. The first one is going to be finding the best mortgage structure for you, whether that be the 15-year or 30-year loan, and then as well as, fixed or variable interest rates. This is also taking consideration, hey, is your income enough to even pay for those loans and such like that? What tax bracket are you in? What time horizon are you looking for in regards to the payment structure and schedule right there? Is that sustainable for you? Next up, what we got to take in consideration also is reassessing your home regularly. What we mean by this is essentially, does your home still satisfy your wants and needs at the end of the day? And lastly, consider the right size for your home if it outweighs the cost, the cost of satisfaction and such like that. Essentially, what we're saying is be bold and be unafraid of change. Now, the next thing I do want to go over in regards to managing lifestyle, a big thing that goes into our lifestyle itself is going to be the choices that we make in regards to luxury items, leisure activities, and such like that. In other words, what we buy and what we do. Excuse me. So essentially, for this slide, what Americans need, the line between necessity and luxury has shifted, over the years, and I would say it's constantly shifting. The things that we consider necessary now are very different than what our grandparents, considered necessities. The key thing to keep in mind is that, it is these differences or these needs are different for each person. An important thing to remember that each luxury item or leisure activity has two costs at the end of the day. First one is going to be the actual cost, the money that goes out of your pocket. The second one is going to be the opportunity cost. Essentially, like I said, the cost of the alternative that you could have elsewhere. So let's look at one example. In this case, we're going to be looking at owning a sports car. In this case, we're going to be looking at the Ferrari California T as well as the Porsche 911 Carrera right here. Looking at the charts on the left-hand side, we see that the California T costs $200,000, and with a maintenance cost of roughly around $40,000 per year. Now, for the Porsche 911, though, we see that the cost itself is $100,000, as well as the maintenance cost of roughly around $20,000 per year. Both very expensive, but let's look at the opportunity costs. Essentially, what we're going to be deferring to is going to be the right-hand side of the screen. We see that if we're just to buy the Porsche 911 instead of the Ferrari California T, we can utilize the $100,000 that we're saving just from the difference of the cost of the two cars, invest that in the market, as well as invest in the difference between the maintenance costs per year, roughly around $20,000. In a 5-year time horizon, what we see is that by investing $100,000 and also investing the $20,000 per year at an assumed growth rate of around 6%, by end of year 5, we would have nearly $250,000 extra by just choosing the Porsche instead of the Ferrari. And essentially, this is the opportunity cost that the Ferrari owner is foregoing or leaving on the table due to the decision. We're not saying that you shouldn't buy the luxury car, but just consider the actual cost and the opportunity cost that is out there. Now, let's go back to essentially Ron and Cindy. the couple that we're going to be doing a case study on, you know, for them, in regards to their mission, in regards to managing a lifestyle and such like that, they decide that they need a new car and they're going for a BMW. The two decisions that they have is going to be under the, BMW 740i or the BMW 535i. After running the numbers, we see that they're going to be choosing the 535i. You know, for the cost itself, it's a $19,000 difference. This doesn't, take in consideration the maintenance costs and such like that. But if we look on the right-hand side of the screen, what we're going looking at is going to be the actual difference of 19,000 plus the actual cost of maintenance, ownership, and what you're doing with the excess money, essentially investing it, for the long run. Still taking consideration 6%, return roughly. We could see that after 5 years, they'll have $57,000 roughly accumulated in the market. Now, let's extend that in a longer time frame, roughly around 20 years. The difference right there is roughly around $137,000. As we see, these small differences that they make can have an outstanding, significant change in the future when it comes to managing their lifestyle. And that's why they chose the 535i instead of the 740i right there. Now, cars aren't the only thing, out there that we make decisions on. Let's take a deep dive and look into leisure activities, essentially, vacations, going out with friends, concerts, sportings, such like that. We're not saying to avoid leisure activities. Our goal is just to help you make smarter financial choices when you plan them. Let's look at, some case study in regards to vacations, essentially putting more towards money in regards to where you want to spend it. Cost of Airbnb or hotels and such like that, these are all considerations that people need to take. For Ron and Cindy, they're usually have the idea of, hey, 2-week vacation. They usually spend a lot of money on it. Their mentality is, why not? Let's live it up. However, on their new mission of managing their lifestyle, they're looking to cut costs. And in this case, the first example that they took was actually in regards to a condo instead of a hotel. On a yearly basis, by just changing their living situation from a hotel to a condo, they saved $200 per night. And in regards to this 2-week vacation, they saved $2,800 per year. Now, let's think about food. When we go on vacation, we eat food, they eat food also. By just cooking a couple meals in their condo instead of going out every night living in a hotel, they were able to save $600. Also, when we travel, people usually take flights. On their side, they were able to save money by monitoring flight deals and such like that instead of buying flights the next day, such like that. And they also use points, which is a lot of things that people do nowadays when we have credit cards. And they were able to save $4,800 per year. Now, let's take a step back and take that money that they saved and put that towards managing the lifestyle as well as saving for the future. With the money that they saved, $4,800 per year, invest that in the market with a 6% assumed growth rate. Within 20 years of them going on vacation every year, saving that amount of money, a little less than $5,000, they were able to accumulate nearly $190,000 right there. Awesome. So, with Ron and Cindy, they've done a great job of managing their lifestyle by downsizing their home because the kids left and they don't need the larger home. They were able to save, roughly around $950,000. Now, in regards to getting their car right there, by downsizing to essentially the BMW 535i and not getting the 740i, they were able to save or accumulate roughly around $137,000. Lastly, by even taking smarter vacations throughout the years, they were able to accumulate another $187,000. Now, if you combine those three things, home management, luxury purchases, as well as leisure activities, they were able to accumulate over $1.2 million. And with that $1.2 million, they can buy another home, they can go on another vacation, and maybe they can even retire as well. So these small decisions that Ron and Cindy have made have really added up over time. And one thing to essentially wrap this all up is essentially putting the money, or essentially the found money, to work. The money that you save, or money that people save, can only get you so far unless you actually invest in and such like that. So the next question is essentially how to invest the money. The study's shown, essentially the source on the bottom right here, the study that we found essentially is that 91.5% of a portfolio's return is determined by asset allocation, while only 8.5% is determined by specific securities. Essentially what this shows is that asset allocation is the most important factor when investing. And that's actually something our team over here can help do for you, essentially help find a portfolio that's right for you. And essentially that's it, everyone. I hope you got some great insights of this guide and how it can help you in regards to making those financial decisions for you and helping you manage your own lifestyle. Our team can help you essentially reach what you want to reach at the end of the day. And Alex over here will actually explain how to contact us for help.
Definitely. Awesome. Thanks for that great information, Brandon. Really appreciate it. Really like hearing about Ron and Cindy. I feel like Ron and Cindy are not too dissimilar from a lot of our clients out there. They want to, retire. They want to live their desired lifestyle, but they want to do it in a smart way where they're not spending frivolously. So I think Ron and Cindy are a great case study and very similar to, a lot of people and their goals out there. As we wrap up, wanted to remind you about our resources, specifically our website. So again, if you haven't already, get your phone out, scan the barcode, bookmark this page. This is your best resource for engaging with our team for all of your planning needs. We've got a great monthly newsletter you can subscribe to, videos that we'll be releasing on how to build generational wealth, videos that Brandon is creating on personal finances. So make sure to check all of those out. We're also on YouTube. If you want to search Tori and Alex Satera Investors on YouTube, you'll be able to find all of our videos, including Brandon's awesome YouTube series on personal finance. I'd say the most important page on our website, and you'll see it on the bottom right, is the big yellow schedule a meeting button. Will take you to our scheduling pages. And this is where you can go to schedule a virtual meeting with either Brandon or any of the other advisors on our team here.